world. We're talking about the MTN FA Cup semi-final. So brace yourselves for an epic showdown this Saturday, May 11, 2024, as Nswatreman goes head-to-head against Legon Cities at 3 p.m. and Sunday, May 12, as Bofuakwatano take on title holders Dreams FC at 3 p.m. all at the Wafa Park in Sugakope. So get ready for thrills, the excitement and the shock as the journey to glory gets heated. Will we see giant slayers or favorites cruise to the finals? You can never predict in the MTN FA Cup. Dog, do you believe that? There's the FA Cup in here. Is no respecter of teams.
We want Kotoko to win.
But the other is that. They say it's what? In Swatreman and Legon Cities. And then Bofuakwatano and Dreams FC.
You know Dreams
I
is
can't
in
see
my backyard.
Oh, really? Oh, right.
So it's a Kotoko India.
And your Mefa Dreams. Okay.
Right. So two of my teachers, present and then a former teacher in the medical school. Turns out that they are ardent listeners of the show.
Oh, wow.
And I got to meet them not too long ago, and they expressed great satisfaction at the work we do.
Oh, that's nice.
on this show. So Professor J.O. Lamte, and then Dr. Francis J. So Francis J. is in the University of Ghana Business School.
Okay.
And then Professor J.O. Lamte is University of Ghana Medical School. Department of Surgery.
The business school and the medical
and
school.
the medical school. So I know they're doing the listening right now.
So if I had followed my mom's wishes of becoming a doctor, maybe I would have met one of them.
You see, definitely you would have met Craig Lamptey. Wonderful surgeon, wonderful
nice.
teacher.
Greetings go out to both of you.
Right, good. So Kofi, let me ask you a question.
Please do.
If you go to the hospital and the doctor doesn't prescribe medication for you, how do you feel?
I feel he's been complacent.
I
said my head is aching. You said go and drink water and sleep. What is that?
What's that? About advice.
Advice cake.
No. So, Kofi, you are a typical Ghanaian.
I know.
And we all expect. And actually, people grade doctors' performance by the number of drugs.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, the general public. Oh, this doctor is very good. Hey, because you're and if you dare not prescribe medications, then it's they look at it through different lenses.
I see.
So today we want to talk about something I have observed in my practice, and it's about medicines. And I titled it The Double-Edged Sword.
Okay.
So, and as much as medicines do a lot of good, I actually can't imagine the world without some of the medicines. All some of our medicines are very, very recent.
Right.
If you take penicillins, for example, just around 1940, that's when we started making penicillins commercially available.
Okay.
The Abon Belt, you know how widely we use them.
Yeah.
Antibiotics in general. Then I'm thinking, so before then, when people got infections, what were they using? So drugs are very, very, very important, or medicines are very, very important in the way we manage disease. Now we all saw how COVID, the pandemic hit us, and how the main interventions again were the use of medicines. But Kofi, let's learn some Latin. Sola dosis facit venenum. Latin, which means all things are poison, and nothing is without poison.
You say it's what? Sola dosis facit venenum.
Yes.
Means all things are poison, and nothing is without poison.
Yep. Only the dose makes that a thing is no poison.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
This one, the Manifans first will say, deep.
Deep. And one of the fathers of medicine, he's the one who came up with this very insightful or deep quote, that every drug, everything can be poisonous the dose makes all the difference. So paracetamol is a very good medicine or good drug that we all use for headaches, body aches. People trivialize it. Most people actually don't respect paracetamol. My doctor, then you give us paracetamol. But at the same time, if I tell you that it is one of the medicines or drugs that people use to commit suicide in other parts of the world, because it's readily available, and if you take a lot of pills and you wash it down with some Jack Daniels, then you're going to explode your liver and you're going to die as a result. So at a certain dose, even paracetamol can kill you. So the dose makes something a poison or a drug, a medicine. So medicines are generally, or in simple terms, chemical substances that we take into the body to fight disease, prevent the occurrence of disease sometimes. But in simple terms, that's what a medicine is, or that's what a drug is. Something that you take into your body to fight disease or to prevent disease. So now we've set the stage. We know that medicines can be harmful. So two concepts. One is what we call the rational use of medicines, that you have to use medicines rationally. And then also we put in place certain measures or guidelines to avoid certain mishaps. So when you take a drug, two things can happen. Well, you get the desired effects of the medicine. It will do what we want it to do. It is effective. It is efficacious. You get, you make full recovery from your illness. Or unfortunately, sometimes you make full recovery, but at the same time you develop some side effects of the medicine.
Right.
Yes, the undesired effects of the drug. All right?
Yeah.
Can also happen. Sometimes these things, the undesired effects are trivial. You get a small rash over your wrist. We say, oh, it's okay, it's nothing, we'll give you something, it counteracts that, because the good effects have been achieved.
Yeah.
Well, Kofi, sometimes too, unfortunately, the side effects are major side effects. You have to discontinue the medicines. Unfortunately, sometimes these are not side effects. These are because we did not follow certain guidelines in one dispensing or one prescribing the drug, then dispensing the drug, or administering the drug. So as for the first one, prescribing the drug, that's why some people spend 5-7 years in medical school. Let's leave that their matter to them. Then the dispensing the drug and then administering the drug. That's why I want to focus today's discussion on. Maybe another time we would talk. So we're going to look at a subset of the rational use of medicines. So Kofi, there are some simple steps that healthcare professionals follow, and patients must also, or any individual who wants to use a drug. And I think all of us, those who are listening right now, everybody would have used some drug. Whether it's topical, you're applying it to your skin, an eye drop, something you are dropping in your ears, tablets, suppositories which you are inserting, pessaries, and all of that. You have to follow these guidelines. So we call them the rights of medication administration. The rights. So I'm not in asking, I know my right. I have a right
like
to
the
vote.
right things to
do. Exactly, Kofi, the right things to do. So, Kofi, the first thing is, do I have the right patient? All right? That's the first check. Do I have the right patient? It's very, very important that we make that connection. So, in the hospital, it is very possible that I will have two people with the name Kofi Hayford coming in same day. Very, very possible. A lot of the time we think as individuals you are the only person with that name. Most people don't think that there is another person with Kofi Hayford in the same town coming to the same hospital as they are. We never think that way. So we think that, I'm the only Yaw Osafo, or I'm the only Ekuya Mansa. So for us as healthcare professionals, before you dispense the drug, so when you mention the name, it's not the first person who comes to the counter. If you hear for, then you come to the counter. Then you have to go through certain checks,
right,
to make sure. Oh, hello, madam. Good afternoon. Can you please mention your name again? Then sometimes some of the patients or individuals are very rude. Are you not the one who just called me? Then you are asking me about my name again. Oh, please, we beg you, don't fight with us. We just want to make sure we have the right patient. So yes, we did mention a name. Sometimes we are mentioning Kofi Hayford. Yaw Osafo will come to the counter
for another reason.
Well, or no, what in it? They've been sitting for a long time. Sometimes they are frustrated. He wants to go. So I mentioned Kofi Hayford, but he also had Yaw Osafo.
Okay.
It does happen,
right?
So when you get to the counter, they may ask you to
confirm
your name. And please, we shouldn't be upset. It's part of the things that we do to ensure. By the same way, when we are about to administer the drug, so this is at the dispensing point. So maybe somebody collects or you collect it, and then maybe somebody has to administer it. Sometimes we do self-administration. So I'll collect the medicines. I'm capable. Doctor says I should take 2 times a day and all of that. So I will just take some water and then administer the medicine. But sometimes it's an injection. And somebody has to administer it to you. Like the insulin injection. Some people have an aversion for needles, so they will not be able to do that. So if you are going to administer the medication, or sometimes if you are in a hospital, inpatient unit, and we have to, then at that point where we are administering, not dispensing the drug, again, you have to make sure you have the right patient.
Right.
In some hospitals, they use the barcode. So there's a scanner.
Right, on the wrist.
Yeah, on the wrist. And all of that. So we will scan that just to make sure that we have the right patient. So the first right check is that it is the right patient. This drug is for this patient as the doctor prescribed it.
Right.
All right. So you do those kinds of check, the right patient. The second right is the right medication. So now we are going to check. Oh yes, I know I'm dealing with Kofi Hayford. But what medicine is Kofi Hayford supposed to take?
Right.
So there are 1,000 different medicines. Oh, okay. Kofi Hayford is hypertensive. His BP is shooting through the roof. So most likely he's supposed to take an antihypertensive agent. Then I see an antibiotic that has been prescribed against your name. Hey, but this doesn't look right. Is that his drug? So that's how we make our checks. So there's something called diagnosis treatment mismatch. The treatment should fit the diagnosis.
Right.
So if you have diabetes, I can't be administering, antihypertensive medication, to you.
Right.
So it must be the right medication. 3, once we've established we have the right patient, we have the right medication, then is it the right dose?
Okay. So not just the right medication, but also the right dose of
right
that
dose.
medication.
Remember the Latin we learned, Solar doses.
It's the dose that makes the difference.
The dose that makes the difference. I can have the right medicine for you, and then I give you some an overdose. A dose that is not suitable for you because you are of a certain weight. All right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is it also a problem is there any such thing as underdose?
Oh, yes. So, one of the key concepts when we are looking at what a good drug is, it must be efficacious.
Okay.
Efficacy. Mm-hmm. It must be able to do
exactly what we need the drug to do.
Okay. Exactly. Then we say the drug is efficacious. So, if I give it at a lower dose, mm-hmm. it will not be efficacious.
Okay.
It will not exert that effect that I want. And that is what an underdose will do to you.
Okay.
So imagine, for example, it was supposed to stop you from getting pregnant. I like this response. Sadeba.
Yeah, I instantly and immediately imagined all the troubles and problems it can bring.
Exactly. The consequences are dire.
It can change my life.
It can change your life. God, Kofi, the thing you and I do has come. Hey,
but you took the distance.
You took the distance. And you're supposed to take 2 tablets and then you took 1. You're supposed to take 10 milligrams and then you took 5 minutes. So the drug will not be able to exert its effect.
It didn't reach its destination.
That the repercussions are very, very dire.
Yeah.
So underdosing means that you don't get the effect.
Right.
We're not worried that something terrible. Well, somebody will say something terrible has happened to them,
yeah.
but not in that sense.
Yeah.
Then you have the overdose, where then you've gone overboard,
right.
and then you are in the realm of that Latin phrase that we discussed earlier on.
Yeah.
You may have adverse effect. So the right dose. Right. So Kofi, now we have right patient, right medication, right dose. Now, how do we give the drug? How have we been instructed to give this drug to the patient? The route, right routes. So we have something called routes of administration of drugs. Are you supposed to take the drug orally? Or are you to push it up your backside?
Okay.
So sometimes we say suppository.
Yeah, suppository.
So it means you push it up your backside. So if you imagine the drug that doctor says push it up your backside.
You go and swallow.
And then you go and swallow.
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Then there are medicines that you have to insert vaginally as a pessary. There are topical medications to the skin. Then we also have eye drops instilled on the eye, instilled in the ear. So we call all these things routes of administration of the drug. So how is the drug supposed to? Then you have the injectables. But even that one, we have different routes of injection. Is it an IV where we are going to put it directly into the vein? Or are we putting it into the muscle? IM. So those intramuscular. Or are we putting it directly under the skin? To the fat layer under the skin. Also, so these are all different types of injections. Right. So again, it's very, very important for you to have certainty and clarity, the route of administration. So the nurse will check that, the dispenser will also check that, and then you, the patient or the individual, you must be clear in your mind how the doctor wants this drug to be administered. All right. So the route of administration is very, very important. Look, when we have emergencies, then we have to bypass the oral route most of the time because we want to deliver the medication
as fast
as possible, or shorten the time of onset of action. So we put it right into the blood, and then it works at the receptors very, very quickly. Sometimes we put it under the tongue because the tongue is very, very vascularized. I mean, if you have a small cut on your tongue, Kofi, the way you can bleed. So if we want to reach the blood, so we put things under the tongue. And then it gets quickly absorbed. All right. So if you don't administer the drug correctly, you may sometimes lose the efficacy. You may lose on some time. And it may all have adverse effects or dire consequences on patient outcomes. Is it also the right time to administer the drug? So the first right time. So we call these things dosing intervals. The doctor says 2, and sometimes that's where the mistake comes from us. We say 2 times a day. Kofi, what does 2 times a day mean to you?
I can take it at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. It's 2 times still.
Exactly. So 2 times a day is very dangerous. Talk. Very, very dangerous talk. And we actually told not to. But it's a habit that's stuck. But we don't say 2 times a day. We assume that the sensible thing is that people take it 12 hours apart. Then people sleep. So everybody stays up. So somebody will take it at 9 a.m. And 12 hours apart would mean that you should take it again
at 9 p.m.
I say, maybe I bought 7 and I'm at
So now it's going to be 24 hours instead of 12 hours.
Or maybe you take it at 7.
Okay.
Before they sleep.
That's if they don't forget.
That's if they don't forget.
But if they forget, it means the next morning.
Morning.
Okay.
Then we're going to have implications on efficacy of the drug.
Right.
All right. So timing is also very important. If you shorten the time, you may have too much of the blood, too much of the medicine in the blood. If you also lengthen the time, then we have questions about efficacy. So we have to be clear in our minds. Okay, there 2 times a day we mean every 12 hours.
Yeah.
3 times a day we mean every 8 hours.
Right.
4 times a day we mean every 6 hours.
Right.
So we have to be very, very clear when we are dispensing the medication to rather present it this way rather than the 2 times a day and 3 times a day, and we leave it to the imagination of the individuals.
Okay.
So you as a patient, you must have that clarity.
Okay.
Now, having done all of that, we will have to document. So that's the 6th and the last one is right documentation, and this is for medical legal reasons. Very, very important. If you are taking the drug at home, you can document so that you don't forget what you have taken, maybe some forgetfulness. So, and all of that. But in the hospital setting, the inpatient setting, and it's very, very important that we document all of the above that we have done. So, Kofi, on this show, we try to empower everybody so that they're able to know how to engage the healthcare system.
Right.
So today we have learned about the 7 rights, or the 6 rights when it comes to medication administration as part of that whole rational use of medicines and trying to make the use of medicines safer, so that we don't have the undesired and unfortunate incidents that sometimes happens with medicines.
Right. Okay. So if just to reiterate the 6 rights, we have the right patient, the right medication, the right dose, right route, right time, and right documentation. I am very much interested in the right time.
Yeah.
I think me that is when I fall ill and I'm giving some, but I think a lot of us also
all of us, and healthcare professionals are the worst culprits, especially doctors, worst culprits. When you give them medications to take, we rarely follow the dictate.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
The timing is very, very important, and not just you took it. I took it twice a day. So we have to be very, very clear that the interval should be 3 times 8 hourly or 12 hourly or 6 hourly, whatever it is. So that starts from us as healthcare professionals by being very clear how we want the medication to be taken, and then the patients, you also make sure that you follow that type of regime.
So folks, Drive Doctor already, but if you're new to the show, then yes, he's Dr. Yaw Osafo of Medicus Hospital. Doc, I'm sure a few of or maybe a lot of them will want to reach out to you, so please, why don't you put out your contact before you go?
So we're not able to take questions. We'll do that next week.
Right.
So those who want to reach out, the number is 0501 477 340. The WhatsApp contact is the same, 0501 477 340, and someone on the team will speak to you, give you directions if you need to come over.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Yaw Osafo, who's been speaking to us on medicines. I'm sure you've learned a lot. 6 rights on medication administration. Doc, we'll see you next week. But what's your favorite reggae song?
I do a lot of Bob Marley.
Okay, so anything
I like
Bob
the
Marley. Trench Town?
No, 3 Little Birds.
3 Little Birds.
Yes.
I'll play that for you after the break.
Thank
you,
Kofi.
Who is your favorite hip-hop rapper? Foreign.
Oh, foreign now, me.
Tupac, Eminem, J. Cole, Kendrick, KRS-One.
You should have seen me in 95.
Yeah, who was your favorite at the time?
Tupac. My bandana.
Were you bald at the time?
But no, kaka. So Charlie, the bandana, my canny jeans.
I know, right?
Okay. Yes. But I like Tupac.
All right, sure. Tupac. Thank you very much, Dr. Yaw Osafo. It's
You're
time
welcome.
for news. Let's catch what's happening.